So, did that work? I assume so. Alright, we are back, and this is Tier 3, which I'm not used to commentating because I'm used to racing in it. However, it's the season finale, and it's a bit of a weird way it's happened, but for some reason, we just didn't clock that we'd have Christmas next week and New Year's the week after. No one's really going to want to race either of them days, and then no one's really going to want to wait 2 weeks after that for the season finale. So this is the season finale, which means that Tier 1 was decided yesterday, and Tier 4 also was. I'm now racing in that. But here we have Tier 3, the title fight. It's going to come down to this race between Luigi Sven in the Mercedes and Harry, who isn't here. He's literally just joined, as I said it, in the Haas. So I'll run through. Oh, my audio keeps cutting out. It's a bit strange. Anyway, I'll run through how each driver can win. Well, I say how each driver can win. How Luigi can win, because I'm going to be quietly rooting for Luigi, but still, I'm going to stay passive on this. So, Luigi can win the title if he gets P1 and fastest lap, and Harry ends up P9 or lower. And that is, Luigi then wins the championship on points. If Luigi then gets P1 with no fastest lap, and Harry gets P10 with no fastest lap, Luigi still wins on points. So it is very much Luigi chasing Harry here. Harry needs to get a bad result for Luigi to win it. But so we will be quite interesting. And if Luigi gets P1, Harry gets P9, no fastest lap, or then I assume P10, fastest lap, Luigi will win, but not on points, just off count back at best results. Because Luigi has a P10, Harry doesn't. Apparently. We'll see. I'm not quite sure how that works, but this is what I have in front of me. And 5% on my phone, that's not great. Anyway, we are delayed because of the World Cup final, and I personally have won 25 quid from a small sweepstakes with a few mates, which I'll take. And I know there's a lot of people who've won more, but it's meant that we're half an hour late, well, 45 minutes late to start, because lobby opened at past. We have got Hilsey reserving for Ferrari because he's new, and signed for Haas as a academy reserve, so Ferrari obviously are needing a driver this weekend. And any other notable points? Jimmy two-time, now full-time Aston Martin driver instead of the full Mercedes reserve driver, although none of this really matters too much because this is of course the season finale. We'll have over Christmas to New Year to rethink the way we did tiering, because it was a little bit flawed. And then I think we're cutting down to 3 tiers, or maybe, yeah, because we're not going to have a 4th tier, I think, which is a bit of an odd way of doing it. However, it might do well to stop having literally 12 people in tier 1, because that was a bit of a problem. And we should have a near full lobby here with, so we have 2 Mercs, 1 Red Bull currently, 1 Ferrari, both McLarens, 1 Williams that stands, but we are waiting on ST Nockery, he will turn up, 1 Aston Martin, but I believe there should be 2. No AlphaTauri's currently, because maybe Matic can make it, and I'm not sure on his teammate either. The second Haas of Sainz should be here, because otherwise Hilsey would be driving for Haas. We have both Alfa Romeos, and then both Alpines. Corkin Malakis now on. Well, he's cut his assists down, So it'll be interesting to see if he has adapted to that enough to be a threat in this race. I'm not too sure because it is extremely difficult to slim down on the assists used. So, but it will definitely be someone to look out for. Of course, the Mercedes Academy will be looking to help Luigi Sven in any legal way possible. While you would assume Ferrari Academy are doing the same for Harry. This is the only real tight title battle because I think Tier 2 has been won by Callum in the AlphaTauri. Tier 1 was won by quite a landslide by Shuey in the Red Bull. And then Tier 4 was won by one of the Ferraris, and Ferrari got the constructors. With Williams in second place though, so we will take that because of course Williams, well we've got 10th place in Tier 1 I think. We haven't had a good Tier 1 season. But hopefully that will change next season. We've got we've got signing in place, one or two that I'm looking to line up as possibilities. And then Mercedes Academy could be quite a force to be reckoned with next season. But that is, of course, not important now. What is important now will be the battle between Luigi Sven and Harry. And as it stands, we have 5 minutes until we go, which means that I'm going to have to keep talking for 5 minutes and fill spaces. I haven't really got a hell of a lot to talk about at this point. Of course, the next couple of races that were cancelled were, let's see, Mexico, Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi. Brazil being a sprint, so there would have been more points up for grabs there. I'm glad we don't have to do Mexico because that honestly would be quite a boring race. Brazil, it's a shame we can't do that. Abu Dhabi I'm happy not doing because that's also pretty trash. But of course if we'd have had a bit of forewarning with maybe people not remembering that Christmas Day was on a Sunday, well if Christmas was on the next week, we could have possibly swapped out Monza for Brazil, but obviously that's also personal preference. It could have been for Abu Dhabi as well. But hey ho, we're at Monza for the season finale. That's definitely not something you'd see often. And we are now waiting on, we have 14. We're waiting on one of the AlphaTauris being Iron Lol Gamer. He is meant to be here. Matic apparently is not meant to be here. And then Sainz is meant to be here. So as it stands, we are missing an Aston Martin, which to be fair, I could possibly have been reserving for, but since I've dropped down to the tier below, but then also I wouldn't have made much of a difference. And I think this needs to be streamed because hopefully we have a good race in front of us. One of the Ferrari that's missing and the Red Bull that's missing. It's interesting to see who they might be. So race attendance. So yeah, we're missing Harvey. Harvey said he can't make it. Who said they can't make it? Neon is Red Bull, I believe. Yeah, Neon Cat. So Neon Cat isn't here, which has probably made a lot of people feel better. And that is pretty much it. Dance can't make it, that's the second Ferrari. And Lou can't make it, so, well, Lou's the second Ferrari, Dance is the first Ferrari. So neither Ferrari able to make it, which is why Hillsy's standing in with no teammate in this race. Williams, Manx Joy and ST Not Great, if you tune in for Tier 2 after this one, which hopefully won't be set back because of the World Cup. Shouldn't be too long of a race anyway. But we have both of our Tier 3 drivers filling in for Tier 2 since we don't have any Tier 2 drivers, so hopefully we can get some decent, well, they can get some decent experience. We're looking for a decent result in this race and then just hopefully a half decent result in the next one. As it looks like we are maybe. A couple of people readying up, well, a good few people readying up already. And everyone who looks like they're probably in a party with Luigi readying up. So, yeah, and then Matt and Sonojo. Because Mercedes Academy, very, very well drilled. Must stress that point. Mercedes Academy are the GOATs. Ferrari washed. Red Bull, not necessarily washed, just because they're B's and other tiers, but still washed in this tier. Sinez is apparently, yep, Sinez is here, so that means we are missing... Did Iron Lol turn up and I didn't notice? It doesn't look like it. So we are missing Iron Lol Gamers, the only person who said they would be here and then isn't. Which means Alpha Tauri have just completely boycotted... Matic was pretty annoyed because he was sort of in the title fight. And then because we've cut down 3 rounds just to... Because it means we can focus on a better next season. Make sure we get things right this time. Hopefully make tier 1 a bit more of a competitive tier. It'll mean that it's probably just Matic then he just wasn't too happy. I don't know what's up with Iron Lol though. This is a shame. We have got 15 here, which is a very good number, and that is generally what is expected for those in tier 3 and tier 2. Also very, very good attendance. So I've already burned through a lot of things I need to talk about, and we're not even in qualifying yet. Wonderful. Right. Also, I don't feel too great, so I don't know. My throat's okay though, so I shouldn't sound too off. As we are now into qualifying, looks like everybody... Well, looks like this is all going okay, and I haven't got any internet problems. I don't have my external hard drive in anymore, so that should make it a bit quicker. And it's meant that I haven't joined Twitch and then disconnected from F1 immediately like it used to. Yeah, so stream looks okay. I don't know if you can hear me okay, but still. That's just a shame. Suggest a poll. Dance Super win or no? Dance Super... Well, okay, that's a bit of an odd one. Well, Dance Super's not even driving, so I think that'll be a very good poll to do. I'm joking. Starts in 14 seconds. Looks like someone hasn't quite chosen their tyres for the weekend or something. Either way, we go into quali. Oh, we do go into quali. There we go. That's crazy. High caliber in this race, isn't he? Yeah, okay. I just suddenly had a thought that maybe I was missing something, but he is. And who's going to be the first one to get out? We need to remember that I need to do spectator menu, don't I? So just give us a second as I change what I need to change. We want camera type broadcast usually. Gap. We want off of the leader probably. Detail. None for now. Telemetry enabled because I like it. Lap data enabled because it's good. Full track map, of course. Go to that. And it looks like first out of the pits is Sinez in the Haas. They're looking to... I think actually Haas have sealed the Constructors' Championship. So, and the real moves in the Constructors would be mid-table because it's quite close between... From like 6th to 5th... No, from like 7th or 8th to 5th, around like where Ferrari and Williams are. It's quite a tight-knit pack, so it'll be interesting to see how that will play out in this as we go throughout laps. I might as well confirm how the Constructors looks. It'll also be interesting to see the strategies that go on in this race, considering how the grid lines up and what happens to those who you would expect to be in a higher position if they aren't. So it's looking to be a decent qualifier for our season finale as we travel on board with Sinez through Ascari as he lines up to set his first lap, and a couple of people not out of the pits yet, which is interesting. You'd expect people to be out pretty quickly, although look at that, there's quite a train there, so maybe not as quickly as you'd think. We have yellows in sector 3 because of the train that's formed. Sinez has got a decent gap, although one of the McLarens, one of the Ferraris. So it looks like Matt is towing Hilsey down this back straight, and that's going to give Hilsey a big, well, very, very big advantage as he almost pushes him through the first chicane, if you look back there, the Ferrari almost pushes the Aston Martin, and they're like, are they side by side? It looks like he's almost overtaken him on his fast lap. This is pretty crazy. Yeah, Matt with not a great sector, and he's got the Ferrari right up behind him. The Ferrari's in massive traffic. It's like they're racing on a quali lap. Both of them are going to be losing out because Matt may not be losing out too much. Oh, he's lost out there though. And Hilsey's definitely going to end up, surely he backs off because he's not on a good, well, he's had a good start to the lap. He's going to get a very good tow again up down under the bridge into Ascari. It's like it's a battle, not a quali lap. As, oh, that's a bit close to the Haas there. The Haas had to bail out. Sainz clearly not nailing down his first lap. And a little bit more traffic again, as, oh, a little bit of lag from the Aston Martin. And it did look like the Ferrari probably backed out on that lap, as we have more for the Haas going slowly. Probably going to start another lap. Yep, the Ferrari pits because he got held up. So we have, as it stands as they cross the line, ST Nockery 0.5 seconds faster than Jimmy 2 time in P2. Matt not getting a very good lap, as you could have probably told by how he was holding up the Ferrari. He just didn't look that fast. As others come across the line, it looks like Jose Files, oh, a little bit of rallying there from the Williams. Jose Files goes P4 but 7 seconds slower. Mikhail puts it on provisional pole 2 tenths faster than the Williams of ST Nockery. So it's a decent marker for the Mercedes driver. As Sonojo rounds Parabolica, and he'll look to get a decent exit, rides that curb, which the exit that curb can be quite horrible to go over with force feedback, and he crosses the line and puts its P3 as it stands, which is a solid first lap for the Alfa Romeo. Sainz on a fast lap as it stands. He's set a purple sector 2. So he is definitely on a good lap, as he looks to get Ascari neat and tidy, and on the run down to Parabolica could be troubling the top few in these first runs of qualifying, as he gets Parabolica pretty neatly done as well, and through the exit down to the line. It's not a very long run to the line. P3 displaces Sonojo and High Caliber, who I didn't see cross the line. Is going to be followed by Jimmy 2 time as he pits, and then the Williams of ST Nockery who pits, but then Jose Files across the line improves to pole position by 7 tenths. So that is an absolutely astounding lap as it stands. Well, I don't know if it's really an astounding lap, but to go 7 tenths faster than the next fastest driver in quali, and we're only 6 minutes in. That is definitely going to rattle some of those lower down, as Danny Boy, no, it's Sonojo who comes into the pits, and High Caliber also rounding Parabolica to get to the pits. Danny Boy on an out lap, and it looks like Korkumalakis round at turn 1. That is a shame for him. It looks like he just got the power down a little bit too early, and was a little bit, just wasn't quite patient enough, didn't get the grip that he needed, and he's going to have to bail out of this one and try again next time. We have more yellows at turn 1, as is that High Caliber's had another incident at turn 1. Doesn't look like he did was it a Vettel who just went straight through the foam barriers, but then we have, is it Robert Boss to cross the line to start his lap, and then behind him Harry's still in the pits. Sainz pitting from his lap. We have Hilsey on an out lap, and Matt also, no, not Matt, that's Jose Files letting the Mercedes of Mikhail through, as he is on another flyer. So, oh no, he's not, it's just, I mean, it wasn't actually massively bad in lap if it was an in lap, I'm not sure, but okay, it was pretty awful. Anyway, crossing the line currently is that someone's coming to the pits. It looks like possibly ST Nockery in the Williams. We have someone off at Ascari, but that looks like they may have been getting out of the way. That is High Caliber. Or maybe not, I'm not too sure. Yeah, it looks like they were, because there's no visual damage. And further up the field, we have... Who is that getting to the line? Robert Boss? Is that Robert Boss up to the line? No, who's that then? Who's just crossed the line? Must have... No, it can't be. Who's the... Manx Joy, maybe? Yeah, he must have been coming out of the pits then. As Robert Boss heads up to the line and goes P3, displaces the Williams of ST Nockery, and still just under a second slower than Jose Files in the McLaren. So clearly this McLaren has just put the afterburners on for the season finale. Gone pedal to the metal for this qualifying and ruffled some feathers in this tier 3 grid. As the Ferrari of Hilsey crosses the line and displaces Robert Boss immediately. So it's definitely, people are getting faster. It's just how fast can they get and how close to the current pulsar to Jose Files can they get. As across the line comes Luigi Sven to start his first flying lap. Interesting how it's his first flying lap and we're about 8 to 9 minutes into the session already. Roughly, I think, maybe. Might have made that up. And it's a pretty clean first couple of corners. He's followed by Corky Milakis on an outlap, I think, yeah. And then behind them we have the McLaren of Jose Files also on an outlap. As Matt crosses the line, goes P5. He's 7 tenths faster than his past lap, which of course was in the way of the Ferrari, but still, again, just under a second slower than Jose Files. So Jose Files has done a pretty stellar job to get that McLaren that far ahead. And it's going to take quite a lot to displace him as Jimmy Two Time crosses the line to start a new lap. We have Sonojo heading around Parabolica on an improvement. No, not an improvement. Jeez, 3 minutes 14. Definitely not an improvement. But then the Ferrari behind looking to probably pit. And then we catch up with Luigi Sven as he heads around Parabolica up to the line. It looks like it might be a pretty damn good lap for Luigi Sven. Crosses the line P2, bridges the gap to Jose Files in the McLaren, but it's still half as well. 4 tenths to Jose Files on provisional pole. As Jose Files crosses the line. Crosses the line. I'm not quite sure what went on with the timing there, but still. Around the last corner, we have Manx Joy probably going into pits. Yes, he does. He's in P7, so he missed the lap that he set there. Matt down to the line, he's also going to pit. So we have Mikhail heading down the back, heading through Parabolica now. And as he lines up to, I assume, go on another flyer. Yes, he does. It'll be interesting to see how, if he can bridge the gap to his teammate and to pole position. And if they end up orchestrating a bit of a tow between the two Mercedes drivers, of course, tow being more of a Ferrari. That's the only good thing Ferrari can do really in real life. It's the only good strategy they've ever come up with. Let's give Leclerc a nice tow and screw Sainz over. As Sonojo crosses the line, goes up to P8. Solid lap again from the Alfa Romeo driver. Nothing too special to displace those above him. But around the last corner again, we have, is it Corky Milakis, who is on a lap, and it is actually it's a completely clean and possibly quite fast lap. As he gets to the line, it's faster than Jimmy Two Time. It's not quite the lap he might have wanted because it's still a bit off the next driver, but it's a good job to set. It's quite a difficult track to keep if you've not got the experience. It is a difficult track to keep the car in a straight line, as I found out in Tier 4 yesterday. And there's yellows in Sector 3 for one of the Mercedes. That's Mikhail. It looks like he was maybe slowing down to start another fire. I don't know. It was yellow, so he made a mistake. It just depends on how much of a mistake it was. And he has Sonojo behind him, yeah. And then Sonojo will be coming in this lap. Is that high caliber behind him? Doing some wonderful weaving. Truly spectacular. And then behind them, we have Korkamilakis, followed by both Haas cars. So maybe... So Sainz is behind Harry, and Sainz is on a fast lap. So there's no tow really here, apart from maybe Harry trying to tow Sainz. He gets out of the way. There might have been a very good tow, but to the wrong person, in my opinion. Because Sainz will probably get a very good run around this last corner, and we'll see what kind of lap he can post. It's a P3 for the Haas driver, but arguably the wrong Haas driver. Because that could have been that was a very nice tow, had it have been for the man who's challenging for the title, who still has yet to set a representative, well, he's still yet to set a time, not to mention a representative time. Danny Boy crossed the line 2 seconds and a bit off the pace. That's possibly not representative, but you can't really tell. Iron Lol turned up. It didn't show up, I didn't quite notice, but he's put his car P4, which I also didn't notice. So he's doing the job for AlphaTauri in the absence of the other driver, the possibly favoured driver in the championship, although not really anymore because this is the season finale. Yellow's in Sector 1 with quite a large gaggle of cars at Turn 1. And we see High Caliber down this back straight on a much slower lap. He'll probably look to pit this lap and try and get out fast enough, or maybe even just go again. He looks like he'll go again. And we'll see where this can put him. As we see Jimmy Two-Time out of the second Lesmo. Nice and tidy. See what he can set for a second sector time. As he crosses the sector barrier, it's 2 tenths gained on his other time. And Sainz comes into the pits. Danny Boy also comes into the pits. We have... Is it... Manx Joy on a flying lap. He has the upper hand on ST Nokri, his teammate, although ST possibly hasn't set as many laps. As Manx Joy looks to go up to the line and moves up to P3. That is a pretty cracking lap for Manx Joy in the Williams car. And behind him, Jimmy Two-Time... No real improvement from him, and he doesn't look like he's going too fast down the straight either. It looks like he's going to have a quick recharge lap before a last lap dash for pole, which you can't really count many people out of, because I was not expecting Jose Felix to have such a gap to those behind so quickly. Just look at the way it's spread out. Look how close the mid to low pack is. From 7 tenths to 9 tenths to like a second. From 12th to 8th is like 4 positions, and it's like a couple of, I don't know, like 2 tenths or so. So it's a very, very even grid. Apart from this top few, who've just pulled something special out of the bag on these last couple of laps. As Matt crosses the line, 7 tenths. Right, it said 7 tenths faster, but no improvement on the gas. Okay, good game, well done. That makes sense, doesn't it? Anyway, Korkamilakis up to the line. He'll look to maybe improve from 13th position. Crosses the line. It says again half a second gain, but doesn't move up. And behind him, we have Jose Felix across the line to start his final flying lap. Behind, it's ST Nokri, who hasn't set a decent enough lap really in this qualifying, but he'll look to set a good one now. It's that Robert Boss in the other Alpine, heading through turn 1. Ooh, that's a bit twitchy from the Alpine. Possibly not a very good lap from him already. Sonojo up to the line. Not an improvement in second sector. Not an improvement overall, so he may be backed off to go again. As up to the line, Iron Lol Gamer. Not an improvement. It doesn't look like it. So anyway, he might be able to go again. Looks like, ooh, High Caliber's retired. Where's that one occurred then? Oh, it looks like he might have retired in the pits, which is an odd choice, really. But anyway, we have Harry on an outlap. He is ahead of Sinus, his teammate. So what is going on here? Because the Haas just hasn't set a time, and he's in the championship fight. He is the de facto championship leader as it stands, and yet he's towing his teammate down the straight, and then not going for a lap on himself by himself. Jose Felix goes even faster into the 119s, putting Luigi Sven 5 tenths behind. And as Hilsey gets up to the line, Hilsey, it's not an improvement. And behind him, we have maybe, is it ST Nokri up to the line from P11 to stay P11. That's a very slow lap from ST Nokri. He didn't get the flag either, so that is it for him. Manx Joy also didn't get the flag, so we're waiting on Sainz, who is on a decent lap. He's 2 tenths up as it stands, which would put him around P3, assuming he keeps it clean through Ascari. 3.5 tenths up through Sector 2. Ascari is pretty clean, nice on the exit, so this is a pretty good lap for Sainz. Iron Lol puts it on the first row, second position, only 3.5 tenths off of Jose Felix. That's the closest anyone's been. And as Sainz gets around Parabolica and up to the line with a clean lap, he could push for third position, which isn't as good as Iron Lol, and it's definitely not as good as Jose Felix. And Harry up to the line pits, so he hasn't even set a time. Is he just... He's going for like a last to championship win challenge or something. Because that is... Honestly... that's just not normal, is it? Korkanakis not on a representative lap. Apologies for that. Hilsey met the flag, but met the flag on the end of a flyer, so he's not going to improve. So... we are just waiting for him and Harry to cross the line. Well, Harry to enter his pit box, probably. Yeah, as he does just that. And Hilsey up to the line. That is your qualifying. Jose Felix, the McLaren on pole. Not what I was expecting at all. And I don't just mean not what I expected. As in, like, oh, it would have... I don't even know. That is really quite strange. As you can see, all the way down at the bottom of the timing boards, Harry 5902 in the Haas with no time set. Interesting, very interesting. Anyway, cannot overshadow Jose Felix because those 2 laps he set were pretty darn fast. And it's just... I'm just baffled by the choice of the Haas. Anyway, into the race we go. Luigi on P4, maybe? Looked like he was P4, which will mean he's got a very, very good shot. He has to get a top 2 though, which means that he's got Iron Lol, Jose Felix, and was it Sainz ahead of him? So Sainz looking to... Maybe that was the plot play. Maybe it was just Harry knows he's not good at the track. So, if Sainz is more confident, try and help Sainz to get ahead of Luigi and then back Luigi up so Luigi can't gain what he needs to gain to win the championship. It's a very, very odd way of thinking, but it would definitely work if that's what they've planned to do. Otherwise, I really don't understand it. As we line up to the grid for the formation lap, I really do not know. Spectator menu again. Telemetry on. Lap data on. Why not? Full track map, of course. Detail will go. Position change off the start because that's important. And we'll go off interval for the and then we'll go Bosch Bosch. Bob's your uncle. 27 lap race, this one, of course, as per what you would expect. And already Jose Files and Ironlow steaming ahead. Jose Files backwards. Interesting. Definitely interesting. As further back, everyone's just passing the spun McLaren. The spun McLaren also then trying to regain the positions that he's lost under the formation map. Very, very strange. Well, anyway, as you can see, the Mercedes Academy, who I'll be looking to root for, Luigi in P4, the main man, Manx in P5, very, very good job from him, Mikhail in P6, very good job again for the Mercedes to be up there, ST and Jimmy Two Time, bit down the order, but it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens strategy wise with those two being outside of the top 10. As I'll now have a look for the constructors to see what's up for grabs here. Ironlow has just absolutely departed. He's already around Parabolica. Jose Files was also that far ahead with him, and then suddenly just spun. So Ironlow, pardon me again, I'm just a bit too tired. Ironlow, oh, it's an interesting strategy. He's got to keep his tyres warm, but everyone else is just getting around to Parabolica. Oh, there's contact between a few of the drivers, meaning they're reset to the grid. And they're going to struggle with not just pit box positioning, but also tyre temps off the line. As Ironlow lines up pretty decently in his starting position, and we see every other car now just going through all the cars that are already in the grid, because, like, that's racing, of course. And Jose Files, will he get a decent grid slot to get away from... that is a very, very conservative grid position, let's put it that way. Doesn't look like anyone else is really out of order, as we go to 5 red lights. Drive through for jump start for Sonojo. He's just going to look to absolutely gun it. He has just gunned it. He's got P1 as it stands, but he's completely jumped the start. And he's just going to end up... He's just tried to gain as much as he could, really. As soon as you jump the start, I guess that's what you've got to really do. Ironlow into turn 1. Gets the position off of Jose Files. And then behind it's pretty damn close. As Luigi Sven gets Sainz off the start. That is massively important for his title hopes, as he clears the Haas, who could have been a real problem for him in the championship. Manx Joy's lost 5 positions off the start. That is not what he would have really wanted. And there's a couple of cars behind who are now out of position because of the start. Robert Boss dropping way back, and we have a spinner further in the background. Is High Caliber in the Red Bull, so that is not a good start for him. But Sonojo with quite a gap given he's jumped the start. Luigi getting a little bit out of shape on the exit of the second Lesmo. And down this back straight, Hilsey on the charge. He's got Sainz. He's looking to maybe possibly challenge Luigi Sven. Put him off a little bit through Ascari. He does put him off. Oh no, he goes very, very deep into Ascari. And there's contact. And Luigi Sven is round. And that is absolutely horrific for his championship. It's the Ferrari of Hilsey. He's just tapped him into Ascari and gone very, very deep. And now he's losing positions as well. That is very wide from one of them. Someone I can't remember. Sonojo having to serve his drive-through immediately. Jose Files back to P1 as it stands. Ironlow P2. So Jose Files got the position back off of Ironlow. They already have a very healthy gap to P3, which is Mikhail. He'll probably want to try and bridge that gap, but make sure Sainz doesn't... I'm not really sure what happens now, because Luigi Sven is very, very down the order. He's behind his championship rival. They are 12th and 13th on track, and that is not ideal. He's 4 seconds back though. So it's just been a torrid time in the start of this race for Luigi Sven. It's not even been his fault. He's not buckled under the pressure as such. And we have a spinner in the background. Was that the Ferrari maybe? No. Danny Boy in the Alfa Romeo, losing an end plate on his left hand side. And Sonojo out of the pits and already on the back of the Red Bull of High Caliber, who ended up around on the first couple of laps. So as you can see, medium hards is the strategy. Now that's the strategy I was kind of expecting, although it was more hards mediums. So it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. 2 stops for those who are further back, also on the cards, as the 3.7 second gap. Ooh, Sainz looking maybe for a move down the inside into Parabolica. That's much less likely at this tier of racing, but he's almost pushing the Merc down this, around that curve, and he's got the run down the straight. ERS deployed from, well, not both drivers. Mikhail definitely better off in the RS department as it stands. Korkumilakis up to P5, 8 positions gained. That is an absolute stellar job from the Alpine driver. Honestly, well done to him. ST Nokri up 5 positions as well. And Harry's gained 5 from those behind, being very unfortunate. Of course, Luigi down 8 positions. That is honestly possibly as close to worst case scenario as you could get. Danny Boy into the pits with that damage to his front wing. Back up to the front of the grid. Jose Files is running away, but he's got Iron Low still within DRS, so he could pose a threat to the race lead, and hopefully for those in the championship there's contact and things get mixed up even more, as Korkumilakis still, well, just a little bit off the back of DRS of Sainz. Sainz will probably look to challenge Mikhail again going on to the next lap. He is in DRS. The 2 Williams in P6 and P7, very, very good job in this early stint to be that high up in the grid. ST Nokri, very good job off the start. Manx Joy did a very good job to make up for a bit of a poor start he had. That is very wide from Matt out of Ascari. Hilsey looking to make up a couple of positions that he lost through contact with Luigi Sven, as defensive to the inside goes Manx Joy, looking to also get a better run out of Parabolica. He's got the Ferrari right up his gearbox, and he's got no ERS, as Hilsey goes down the straight. They bang tyres, and it looks like Hilsey will get the position. He's got DRS, he's using ERS, or both got DRS, and Manx Joy possibly doesn't have the ERS he needs, but he's the last of the late breaks. That is a very, very good defense from the Williams driver, and he keeps the position. Very, very well done. It's very solid defending, as Mikhail's dropping even further back, although as we'll have a look on what tyres everyone's started on, because for some reason I just completely forgot to think about that, as we do have a couple who started on the hards, Harry and Luigi. So Luigi is on the hard tyres, and we have a spinner. Jimmy 2-time is out of the race. Possibly an early safety car. It looks like it might be. Safety car looks like it's out of the... So we have an early safety car for Jimmy 2-time. That works extremely well for Mikhail, who dropped 6 seconds back off the 2 of the front. Luigi, who dropped a lot of positions back off the start. Harry, who just didn't have a good qualifying. It's going to bunch everybody back together. And those who were on soft tyres now, like Robert Boss and Hilsey, have got a very, very good opportunity to get off of those soft tyres onto possibly the hards to close to the end. And then maybe even a good medium run to make some positions back up when those on medium hards go onto the hard tyres. Those on hards, possibly not the best, well, mediums and hards, you wouldn't really pit now, only 4 laps in. But the 2 on the softs, a lot of people diving in. 5-second penalty for Hilsey for speeding in the pit lane. Any other speeding in the pit lane penalties? I'm not too sure. No, it looks like that's the only penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Luigi is going to gain a lot of track position though for being on those hard tyres, as is Harry, although Harry's in the pits. Harry's going off of those hard tyres and onto the mediums. He's gone from hards for 4 laps to mediums. Surely he's going to go on to mediums again though, because he can't. Or maybe even back to hards, which isn't really a good strategy at all. And it says -1 second behind a car. That's just a bit strange, isn't it? As they come back out, Korkumilakis in P7. Very solid job from him in the Alpine. The other Alpine down the order a little bit, Robert Boss in P11. So, of course, those who hadn't boxed all gained track position, apart from Danny Boy, who is on fresh medium tyres anyway. It was quite unlucky that he pitted for damage just before the safety car came out. But the 2 Alfa Romeos, both, well, one of the Alfa Romeos looks like he's just ghosted, and we'll see. It didn't look like he left, so he may be valid in this race if he retakes control of his car by the safety car. But Harry down to P13. Again, he's just reset his progress. It's almost like he's teasing with the Mercedes who's looking to take his championship. Well, the championship that is currently in his hands. As it is like a wall. We have those two out front who need to be passed by Luigi if he wants to take this championship. Mikhail in P3 has got... It's his job really to do something about it, but he's got Sainz right behind him. And then ST Notcrete and Manxjoy, both P6 and P7. Again, very, very solid for them to be there. They could all play a part in this championship. And Jimmy Two-Time, another Mercedes Academy driver, has kind of done that. Although, if anything, it's the Haas's strategy call that's not helped them at this moment in time. Going off the hard tyres 4 laps into the race. Honestly, the call astounds me. Truly, truly astounds me. So, we will see the big winners off the start being ST Notcrete up 6 positions, Cork and Milakis up 6 positions. So, ST Notcrete and Manxjoy both managing to get that position off of Cork and Milakis, and possibly from a mistake, considering the next to not pit was Luigi Sven, and then maybe High Caliber didn't pit. So, Cork and Milakis definitely would have possibly made a mistake before the safety car came out to lose those 2 positions. He still gained 6 off the start, so it's a very good job from him. And again, your front 2 are your front 2 from the start of the position. Everyone recharging that ERS as we head down the grid. Everyone on 100%. I was really... 76 for Sonojo, who is in AI mode. So, yeah, he might end up getting this result voided just because he's not really there. It just depends on if he ends up being there at the end of the race, because mark it that he's not there 6 laps. Well, lap 6 he's not there. So depending on if he's not there near the end, he'll probably get voided. As Jose Files takes control of the pack and he bolts, and it looks like he possibly catches Ironlaw out a bit, because Ironlaw's fallen back, and behind him the Haas is under pressure possibly from the Williams, and the Mercedes has a very good run on the AlphaTauri, possibly for P2 here, if he's got the very late braking in him. He doesn't. It's good to the ends. Oh, there's a spinner behind, and that is Manxjoy and the Williams around. No, it isn't. Yes, it might be. I'm really not too sure. It looked like he was around, but he didn't lose a lot from it. Harry down to P11, but he's done quite well off the start. Hilsey also not gaining a hell of a lot. Danny Boy's gained a couple of positions. Sainz was the big loser from this. He just was under pressure from one of the Williams and then just completely lost it around turn 1. And up ahead again, Jose Felix still with the gap. He's not been under pressure from Ironlaw. Little bit... Oh, that was a very good line through the second Lesmo. I thought he'd overshot it slightly. But instead, he'd done a very good job there. And further back... Ooh, Robert Boss under pressure from Cork and Milakis. The 2 Alpines having a bit of Ocon Alonso battling here. Into Ascari. Cork and Milakis giving Robert Boss a lot of space and the inside line. Behind... Ooh, contact. Cork and Milakis is round. Matt possibly... in the wrong there? I'm not too sure, but Cork and Milakis has lost all of his positions from that. Sainz looking to gain positions back. He's right. Oh, he's looking to go around the outside of Danny Boy, and if he can keep it, it looks like he does. No, he doesn't. He's spun. He's round. He's Charles Leclerc'd it into the Emirates barrier, and it's gone from bad to worse for the second Haas driver. As Luigi Sven back up to P5 on those hard tyres, he's going to make the hard to medium work. And it's probably going to work well for him. He's got Manxjoy to act as a rear gunner, ST Notcrete and Mikhail to chase after Ironlaw. One of Ironlaw and Jose Felix has to be overtaken if Luigi wants to win this championship. And Harry is in P10, which means that ideally someone... I don't even know. Strategically, it's very, very difficult, as everyone just seems to slow down into a bit of a rhythm, a little bit of a twitch from Mikhail out of the last corner. Ironlaw's dropped out of DRS. Mikhail's in the DRS of the AlphaTauri. So if anything's gonna give, it's gonna be hopefully the AlphaTauri, who may just lose out to Mikhail, and give ST Notcrete and Luigi Sven a good opportunity to give Luigi Sven a nice little P2, and that'll all depend on how Harry does down in P10. because currently he's up 6 positions from the start. He's running on medium tyres, although he is out of DRS of the car in front, Hilsey and the Ferrari, who will be pretty, shall I say, with full traction control and automatic gears, he's going to be a little bit slower possibly, but much more consistent. Although he has also got that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So, again, not a lot happening so far. Manx Joy not quite got Robert Boss up his tail yet. And as it stands, it is a very good haul of points for the Mercedes Academy. A very, very good win. It looks like possibly for Jose Files. Although now Iron Lull has DRS. And now Iron Lull can look to apply pressure. As we go down under the bridge and into Ascari. Mikhail is out of DRS of Iron Lull as well. And then ST Nokri is out of DRS of Mikhail. And then Luigi Sven's out of DRS of ST Nokri. So it's all gone a little bit wrong for the Mercedes Academy. They want to be giving each other a nice big toe. ST Nokri's got the DRS from Mikhail now, but Luigi's still 1.5 seconds back. As we have a spinner again in the background. Is that Corkum? No. Danny Boy. An incident at the exit of Ascari. And he is now out. We have, is that another safety car or a VSC? Doesn't look like the safety car is in the pit lane, which makes you think it's a VSC because there's yellows in every sector. The car is most likely off the track. High caliber in the pits. Early-ish, but then I'm not too sure because obviously he had issues at the start. Sinez, really tired. Sinez also in, along with Korka Milakis. So DRS is enabled again as we go green. Anyone really lost out? Jose Files has really lost out. He's down to a 5/10 gap to Iron Lull. Mikhail has gained also. He's now 5/10 off the back of Iron Lull. Luigi's lost out quite a lot. He's down to 2.5 seconds off the back of ST Nokri. And he's got Manx Joy quite close to him, with Robert's Boss quite close behind the Williams. So it's bunched everyone back up. And Harry is still in P10. Yellow's in Sector 1 as out of the pits. Is that Sinez has spun maybe? Or I'm not too sure. Maybe there's a bit of a poor tyre warm-up on those hard tyres. It's very difficult to get them in a working temperature range straight out of the pits. Jose Files could find himself under pressure as he gets a decent looking run out of Parabolica. But he has got the Mercedes and the AlphaTauri chasing him. The Mercedes has cleared, well, he's absolutely gapped the Williams of ST Nokri, who may have just dropped back a little bit to give Luigi Sven a toe, I'm not sure. However, into turn 1, there's nothing going. Ooh, little bit of a curb taken from Jose Files. And Iron Lull has the position. Jose Files will maybe look to, no, he can't stay up the inside. Matt is out. He's DNF'd. Retired in the pit lane by the looks of it. And Mikhail may be looking to get into this action. Although, Iron Lull under pressure again. Jose Files back up the inside. Retakes his position. And it's a very routine move into the second chicane. And through the Lesmos, nothing given again. Jose Files with a bit of a scare out of the first 2 corners. But he's back on top again. Almost immediately. It's as if nothing happened, really. He's back to that gap he had out front. And he doesn't look necessarily under pressure. Luigi Sven still in this. Oh, Mikhail with a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That'll play a part in... That's a little bit wide again from one of the Williams out of Ascari. That very, very, very satisfying set of corners. Out of Parabolica again. Jose Files going quite wide through Parabolica. It looks like he gets a good run. But then he's got the AlphaTauri bearing down on him. The straight line speed with the DRS and the ERS. The McLaren defends to the outside. Iron Lull will get the position before the braking zone. McLaren looking to... No, he doesn't put one down send one down the inside. Iron Lull with P1. So... the fight out front that looked like maybe Iron Lull would be the one to give and drop back. He's now in P1. Jose Files possibly under pressure now from Mikhail as Manx Joy loses the position. Oh, he's lost. No, he hasn't. What's happened there? the bit of an issue at turn 1 was that Robert Boss around. Robert Boss with a mistake at turn 1. Manx, Joy and Hilsey and Harry involved. Harry up to P7 as into this braking zone. Harry defending from Hilsey. Hilsey gets a very nice move done, pushes the Haas wide. They would not like that in the Ferrari Academy. But it had to be done for Hilsey to get a good result in his debut race and the last race of the season. So that really that really hasn't helped out Harry in his pursuit for the title. Further up the field, Jose Files and Ironlow again with a commanding gap to Mikhail. Mikhail just dropping back on his medium tyres that seem to just be possibly wearing out a bit more, or he's just trying to save them a little bit longer. As Jose Files boxes, and so does Mikhail. So clearly, the medium tyres were just falling off slightly, and they couldn't keep the pace with Ironlol out front. ST Nokri continuing on. He's under pressure from Luigi Sven. He's not going to fight this one. Luigi Sven having to go on again on these hard tyres. The hard tyres coming into play and faster than the mediums as it is at this point. Hilsey going on without boxing. We have Manx Joy into the pits after the little, well, incident, I suppose, at turn 1 with Hilsey and Harry, where it went a little bit wrong for all of them. Harry up to P5 because of the people who pitted. He'll look to go on to hards at the end of the race, but he's going to be slower than those who've gone hard medium. Although those who've gone hard medium was... Wait, hang on. He's on medium now, isn't he? So he'll be going on to probably medium at the end of the race. Harry going wide, though. 3-second penalty there, as we literally saw him just go a little bit over the white line at the first Lesmo. My voice is going a little bit. Bit of hydration mid-race. Up front, ST Nokri sticking to the back of the Mercedes, getting some good toe off of him, possibly going into the pits this lap though, off of their medium tyres. Doesn't look like he will. He's going to stick in the toe of the Mercedes because it's going to do him good. Iron low boxes from P1. He's going to go off of those mediums onto the hards. He's going to be slower in the second phase than Luigi going off of the hard tyres onto mediums. Hilsey up to P3 having not boxed. Harry up to P4 having not boxed. Robert Boss to P5. Jose Files in P7 as it stands, but he's going to overtake Harry, of course. He's going to overtake Ironlow out of the pits. So Jose Files did a very good job warming up his tyres. And Ironlow didn't have the in-lap that he really needed, by the looks of things. Because Jose Files has the gap to him, and Ironlow has to struggle to warm these hard tyres up. He's going to drop back by quite a margin, and Jose Files looks in a good position to retake P1. He's in net P1 as it stands, because he's got Mikhail and Ironlow behind him. Mikhail behind Ironlow by quite a margin as well. So Mikhail hasn't done a good job warming up the tyres. He hasn't had a very good in-lap or out-lap. And he's lost out quite a lot to the few who were in front of him in the fight for P1. Further down the order, Harry, his mediums seem to be in a good working range at this point. He's got the Ferrari of Hilsey to tow him. He's got a lot of ERS in the tank. And Luigi Sven will still continue on these tyres. ST Nokri boxes onto the hards, I believe, off of the mediums. It looks like he will. Hilsey goes on for another lap, as does Harry, which is expected considering Harry's on the hards. Hilsey's still on the mediums though, not feeling the tyre wear as much, which is odd considering he's on full traction control. Of course he's not going to feel it as much, but you'd expect his tyres to wear faster, given the amount of wear you'd get from the game trying to find traction, as opposed to you being more smooth with your throttle control. Jose Files pumping in the fastest lap of the race on his new medium tyres. So he's onto the mediums, off of the mediums, I guess, I think. ST Nokri with a 3-second penalty out of the pits. That's not ideal for his race. Although penalties are generally expected, kind of, given how much people push for these results. And I had a point I was making, and it's absolutely gone. Completely and utterly left. Cannot believe it. Robert Boss with a 3-second penalty. As I stated, it's difficult around this track to keep it within track limits at the Lesmos, within track limits at Ascari on the exit especially, and the entrance curve as well. Oh, a little bit of a snap from the Alpine through Parabolica, and he boxes now off of those medium tyres. We'll see quickly what tyres everyone's on, because I need to have a look. So Jose Felix on the mediums. He started on the mediums. He's going to try and make a medium soft work, I assume, because that's obviously all that's going to make sense. Can't do medium, isn't going to do medium hard. So medium soft. He's going to be faster in the last stage, but he's got to make up for the amount of time lost in the pits, which admittedly at Monza isn't as much as it is at certain other tracks, like maybe, I want to say Imola, because Imola's quite a long pit straight, but I don't think it is. There's some other tracks that you just lose quite a lot from pitting, and it's honestly not worth going for the extra stop. As we have yellows in Sector 1, Robert Boss around out of the pits. So he's clearly not got his tyre warm-up phase correct, and he's just completely dropped it on the exit of the first chicane. Now both of the Alpines, 12th and 13th, last and second last of the runners as it stands. Korkumilakis, ooh, a little bit of a lost rear end there out of the first chicane. Did well. Hilsey in P1 as Luigi Sven boxed onto mediums. Came out in P5. Hilsey net P1 as it stands. Still on the mediums. Possibly. Looking to stretch it medium soft. Now that is a very unlikely occurrence. But given how Jose Felix is looking for a medium soft, he might not lose as much time. It may just be a viable option, you know, if that is the strategy he's going for. Harry coming out of the pits, Manxjoy down the straight. He's not close enough, so he's been jumped in the pit phase, has Manxjoy. Harry now out in P7. That's not ideal for Luigi Sven's championship, although neither is P4 in his own standing. As we head on board with Hilsey, who is definitely slowing down on these medium tyres. And you can see they're not quite biting for Ascari. And he's not quite getting what you'd hope as like an ideal exit. But then he doesn't need to be setting in purple lap sector times when he's trying to keep these tyres lasting possibly for... No, he boxes this lap. Which means he's got another 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Wonderful. Good job. Jose Felix inherits P1. Ironlaw will inherit P2. As he does so now. Luigi up to P3 with Mikhail just behind him in P4. Luigi on the fastest lap of the race. On the faster tyres. On the hunt for a P2. Can he chase down Ironlaw? He's got 3.3 second gap to bridge. Let's hope he can. Harry currently P6 as Hilsey comes out of the pits. With Sonojo down the straight now in AI mode still. So, AI mode lap 18. He was lap 5, lap 6. That'll be his race. Invalidated, I assume. Robert Boss retiring. No! Safety car. What happened there? Maybe Robert Boss hit the pit entry. Hang on. We go on board with Korkumilakis. Yeah, it looks like Robert Boss hit the pit entry. Whoa. Korkumilakis with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's unfortunate for him. Not had the best of races when it comes to being competitive. Although he might find with retirements, he's still in the fight for a points finish. Given he's only one position off it with Sonojo not being here. And Hilsey, who just boxed, that is a shame for him, I guess, that he's boxed and then the safety cars come out. But then it's helped Luigi Sven bridge that gap to Jose Felix and Ironlaw. Wait, why have the... Jose Felix is boxed. Jose Felix has boxed onto softs. He's gone immediately from the mediums to the softs on lap 19. I mean, it's not crazy. It's just a bit strange. He's looking to put in a good stint of maybe 6 or 7 laps, given how long it'll take for the safety car to come out. It's not a bad call to catch R11 Gamer out, who is on a different strategy. Of course, Luigi Sven now in a much better position to fight for that P2 and possibly P1 if Jose Files's race doesn't go too well. I think I mentioned Luigi Sven needing a P2. He doesn't. He needs really a P1. Well, he does need a P1. There's no really about it. He does need a P1 to win the championship. Which means that Iron Lol, he'd have to aim to overtake on track. And Jose Files maybe just not get the strategy right. As my TV casually turns itself off and then back on again. As it does, obviously. Because that's how it works. Don't know why it does that. It's a bit weird. Anyway, the safety car bunching everyone back up apart from Corkin Milakis, who's boxed. Sainez boxed. High caliber box. Wait, Corkin Milakis didn't box. He just stopped for something. I assume maybe Delta. Not sure. Anyway, now we're looking to catch up to the safety car as the safety car heads down the pit straight onto another lap under safety car. Jose Files will be very dangerous on the safety car restart, and it'll probably be down to Manxjoy to try and get a move done on Harry and park it in front of both Harry and Jose Files. If Luigi wants to win this race, because Jose Files will need stopping on those soft tyres. And Harry will need stopping when it comes to track position for the championship. As my TV turns itself off again. Alright. Anyway. I'm just going to change the source on the TV just to let it know that I exist. Corkin Milakis may find it a bit difficult to catch up to the safety car. Not too sure as it heads through the Lesmos. It's gone through the low speed corners as it heads through the higher speed corner down the straight. Of course, not going too massively fast as the safety car, but still, that is quite fast down the straight. If the safety car's in this lap, Corkin Milakis is going to have a very, very tough ask getting to that safety car group, as it's unclear whether or not it's in this lap. It doesn't look like it is, because Ironlaw would have presumably slowed down quite a margin. So the safety car is still out for another lap. We go around again. Corkin Milakis more and more likely to catch up to the back of this pack. Jose Files even more likely to get those softs to work to the end of this race, given that it will be the start of lap 22. So we'll have 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 and 27. 6 laps for those softs. You would think that would be almost perfect operating length, really, for those soft tyres. Harry on 4 lap old mediums. Did he box on the safety car, possibly? No, he boxed just before the safety car, as did a lot of other people. Yeah, that makes sense now, doesn't it? Yeah. So Harry is very much a threat. safety car in this lap. Korkumilakis not caught up to the back of the pack. Around the same place he was last time. Must have had a bit of a spin earlier in the lap, which... Ooh. Manx, Joy and Harry. Now, what has happened there? Harry's now down in P10. Manx, Joy further back than Korkumilakis and with no front wing. What on earth has gone on? As we have gone green, Jose Felix has lost it out of Parabolica. That is absolutely vital for his hopes of 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane for Manx Joy, who really didn't want to hit Jose Felix on the way into the pits. Contact between Mikhail and Ironlow Gamer. Ironlow Gamer has just been absolutely binned by Hilsey in the Ferrari. Korkumilakis up to P4. The AI of Sonojo in P3. Everyone behind's been held up. ST Nockery down to P6. Luigi Sven with a 1.5 second gap to in P1 with Harry in P2. So your two in the championship are 1-2 in this race. And it looks like it's going to be going Harry's way. Because it's all gone wrong for the Williams drivers. It's all gone wrong for the second Mercedes driver. It's all gone wrong for Iron Lol and Jose Felix, who are really looking in the fight for this race win in the season finale. And it has all gone wrong for almost everyone, apart from Korkumilakis. Really, he's one of the only people who's really gained from it. If he can keep this, that'll be an absolutely spectacular job for the Alpine driver. He's got the AI of Sonojo behind him. Hilsey in the Ferrari, who surely has some form of damage from what happened with Ironlow Gamer. Really not sure what happened. It was a very, very weird turn one at the safety car restart. But Luigi Sven is being reeled in slowly by Harry. He's got Korkumilakis behind him. Jose Felix in P6, looking to make... He's made move on ST Nockery into that first corner. ST Nockery possibly looking to fight back. He's got ERS used around this curve. Is he going to send one? It looks like he looks to make a move, and he just sticks behind the McLaren and waits for the next lap. Sainz behind as well, looking to get in this action. Mikhail, is he pitting? He is pitting. High Caliber also pitting. So Manx Joy back out in P10. That was a bit of a cut of the turn one curb. Jose Felix trying to make up for what he's lost in this race. Hilsey is gaining. Can he get the position on the AI? Of course he probably will. Through Ascari. And now he's going to chase after Korkumilakis. That's a little bit wide from Hilsey. Korkumilakis with no penalties. Korkumilakis 0.8 seconds off the back of Harry with no penalties. So as we see it, Hilsey with a 5-second penalty. Korkumilakis with no penalties. Luigi Sven with no penalties. So you would hope that even if Harry catches up to Luigi Sven, which he's lost a point, quite a margin to the Mercedes driver, Korkumilakis looking to get a good run on Harry. He doesn't need to overtake Harry. All he needs to do is stick behind the Haas driver and he'll get P2 just purely from being there. And even if Hilsey overtakes him, he just needs to be within 5 seconds of Hilsey to keep a podium position. So Korkumilakis is in an absolutely wonderful position for possibly a podium in this quite crazy race at season finale at Monza. Sainz getting past ST Nockery. ST Nockery not really making a move again into the second chicane. Further back, Ironlow really not in the fight anymore, not fighting anyone. Same with Manx Joy and Mikhail and High Caliber. They've all had really torrid times off the second safety car restart. Sonojo isn't going to get the position that he's in currently because of him being AI, which means Jose Felix will inherit P5. High Caliber will be the only non-point scorer of the finishers in this race, assuming nothing else goes wrong. High Caliber pitting again, so... Oh, he must be retiring in the pits, I assume, because... Oh, no. He's serving one of his penalties and then changing his front wing for damage. He's not retiring in the pits, which is interesting to see. Hilsey now with a very, very good run on the Alpine of Korkumilakis, who has dropped off the back of Harry, but that is not necessarily surprising, given Harry is going to be on a charge for possibly the P1. Korkumilakis is not going to really fight this position, I assume, because he's going to know full well that the 5-second gap to this Ferrari driver is what he needs, and it's all he needs. So with 2 or so laps left in this race, he needs to stay within 5 seconds of the Ferrari, and he's on the soft tyres, which will be slightly wearing out, but they're not necessarily. Manx Joy with the fastest lap of the race, currently on the soft tyres. That's not a surprise really, as he tries to reel in Ironlow, who's a long way, well, not a long way, okay, a long way ahead of him. Wait, he is a very long way ahead of him. Hold up, who's that there? Oh, so that's High Caliber running lap down behind Ironlow, which I didn't quite notice. Korkumilakis, hold up a minute. Korkumilakis in P2. Harry and Hilsey. What has gone on there? What have I missed? Korkumilakis is up into P2. He's 5 seconds off the lead. Harry's dropped back. He's got a 3-second penalty. Hilsey with the 5-second penalty. So Harry's in AI mode. So Harry is AI. Hilsey is not AI, but just he's dropped back. Wait, is Harry AI? No, he isn't. He's got no front wing. Harry's got no front wing. Hilsey's just lost out in general. Korkumilakis has pulled an absolute blinder out onto lap 26. He's got 2 laps to keep this podium. It could be P2, it could be P3. You honestly don't know. Harry is going on with a broken front wing because it's all he can really do. But he's got a broken front wing. And Luigi spends P1. So it's down to Jose Files, Shinojo not necessarily because it's AI, Sainz, his teammate. It's up to Sainz' teammate to hold off ST Nokri, Ironlow Gamer, Mikhail and Manxjoy DNFs. That is not good for him really. As whereabouts is that DNF? It looks like he's DNF'd down the back straight bit. I'm not quite sure what that is about, unless that's... Like, if he's chosen to retire there, that is an awful decision from the Williams driver, because he was in a good position to possibly gain from the fact that... Wait, Harry's got no front wing. Hilsey's dropped back. Hilsey's had an awful exit out of the second Lesmo. He's under pressure. Korkumilakis is not under pressure. Harry down the back straight with no front wing. He's ahead of Jose Files. He's got Sainz behind him. This is no longer the fight for the Luigi Sven's championship because it doesn't look likely. What's likely here is Korkumilakis with a P2 as it stands. He's got Harry behind with no front wing. He's got a queue behind him. An absolute train is forming behind the Haas driver with no front wing. Surely he will not be at the front of this queue out of Parabolica. It's a brilliant line. That is a brilliant line to carry that much speed with no front wing. No front downforce. Jose Files is going to be piling on the pressure. He's got Sainz. Sainz up the inside. They're 3 wide. 3 wide. Down to turn 1. Sainz looking to send one down the inside. Jose Files even later on the brakes. Jose Files with the P3 position. He's on the soft tyres. He's got 1.5 seconds the gap to Korkumilakis and no penalties on this last lap. It's up to Korkumilakis to keep a 1.5 second gap and keep it clean. Jose Files has got a fend off from Sainz. Sainz looking to avenge his teammate who's got 3 seconds of penalties and a broken front wing. Hilsey with no visible damage, but the weird thing on the front of the Ferrari car, which I've never understood why they've got that weird thing there. ST Nokri P7 ahead of Sonojo in the AI. All of them, they're all bunched together and they all could play a part in this last couple of laps. It's another 3 seconds for Harry. That is absolutely spectacular. Possibly for Luigi Sven's title hopes. No, it isn't. It doesn't look like it. Because Mikhail's so far back, Sonojo's not going to get points. So Harry's going to drop behind those directly behind him. He's gone wide again with no front wing. ST Nokri with the move on Hilsey, slightly off the track. Possibly going to have to give that back, I'm not sure. Korkumilakis with a 0.5 second gap to Jose Files around Parabolica. He's kept it very clean on the power. Luigi Sven wins the race. Korkumilakis with an absolutely cracking P2. Jose Files P3, Sainz P4, Harry across the line with no front wing P5. ST Nokri with a 5 second penalty for not giving back the position for Hilsey. Ironlow will overtake both of them on penalties because Hilsey had pit penalties. Mikhail looking to get P10, High Caliber a lap down. Mikhail will get the P10, which will end up being P9 as my TV turns itself off again for the 3rd time. So Luigi Sven did all he could do in this race to get his championship, get the championship off of Harry, and he hasn't been able to do it. But Korkumilakis as well. What a legend. P2. Harry with driver of the day from last to, is that 6th position? I'm not too sure. But that was an absolutely beautiful race. So there is your grid. There is your finishing lineup, and honestly, that is truly, truly mental. Hilsey on debut as a P9, but it'll be more because Sonojo won't get those points for P5. Which means that everyone's bumped up a position who finished. Meaning everyone finishes in the points, including High Caliber, even though he was a lap down. Because Manx Joy retired, he will also, well, yeah, he was a way back. So it's a win for Luigi Sven, not enough to get his championship. But Korkimelakis, P2. It looked like he was so far out of it through the whole race. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, everything just went in his favour. No words. No words. Honestly mental. Okay, they are words, but there is words. Absolutely mental. Oh my days. What a season finale. Holy moly. Oh man. I'm going to end it there. Korkimelakis, mate. I don't know, you're probably not listening to this, but you should be. That is crazy. Truly crazy. That is a brilliant race from everybody. Not sure quite what happened with Manx Joy and Harry, but it didn't end up mattering for the championship, so we won't really dwell on it. Well, I don't know if they will in Discord, but I'm not going to here. So we're leaving you with that for Season 7, I believe this is. And if that doesn't show what's going to be in store in Season 8, I don't know what will, because that was pretty insane. So,